hey team, hey team, hey, come on in, come on in. I wanna. Oh, hey team, come on in. I want to talk to you this morning about a calorie deficit. One of the reasons why I created this group, Dynamic Physiques Lifestyle Fitness Studios, is to help women like you understand how to live their best life, whether it's socially, physically, mentally. It's a place where you to come build community and build strength and feel safe while you do that, and work out on yourself, right? What do I mean socially? When you have a social community, you can connect with others with the same mindset as you, with improving your health and your strength. So let's just jump on into it, because I've been getting a lot of questions inside of this group about a calorie deficit. And then I met a lady, one of my daughters, that's who I call her, and she said, Kim, can you explain to me what a calorie deficit is? So I'm going to explain to you a calorie deficit. And is there a difference between a calorie deficit and calorie restriction? Well, let's dive on into it. So calorie restriction is simply calorie restriction. You simply are restricting calories. You simply start restricting calories. You don't eat as many calories as you were eating. Now, if you don't know how many calories you were eating, people will start just restricting calories. Maybe they do it by intermittent fasting. They could do it using the keto diet. All of that works the same way. When you restrict calories, you lose weight. Now, here's the thing. What happens when you start to exercise and you've been restricting calories and you're not losing weight? Okay, so her question was, well, I work out 5 days a week and I am monitoring my calories. I know exactly how many calories I'm eating per day. I'm sticking with that, and I'm not losing any weight. I'm not losing any body fat. So what is going on? I said, well, you're simply not in a calorie deficit. You're not. And she said, well, what can you explain to me? What's the difference between a calorie deficit and calorie restriction? I said, sure. A calorie deficit is when you increase your activity and you reduce your calories. She said, well, that's what I'm doing. I said, well, let me explain something to you. You can go out and use one of these calculators online, or you can use the one that is on my website, and you simply plug in a few numbers and you can get a figure of around about what you should be eating according to your height, according to your age, and according to your weight. It will give you the amount of calories that you're eating. Now, you here in the studio, right, you can reach out to me and I will give you that based on the information that you plugged in when you join the studio. It will give you what's called your BMR. That's your basal metabolic rate. That is the rate at which you burn calories according to your age, according to your height, and according to your weight. The rate at which you are burning calories. And it's pretty accurate. So you take that number and you simply take 250 calories off of it. And you can up your activity level by 250 calories. You don't want to go too far above 700 calories a day with a calorie deficit. Why? Because the body just has a rate limiting process. And it's because the body doesn't want you to harm itself. So it has a rate limiting process. So what does that mean? So let me use me as an example. My metabolic rate is 1,300 calories a day. Metabolic rate simply means that's the amount of calories I need to stay alive. When I get ready to take a few pounds off, and that's what I'm doing right now, I just started it, I simply go into a calorie deficit. Now, for me and for clients, I don't like for people to get too uncomfortable where you start suffering and you feel like you can't enjoy yourself on the weekend, and you feel shame when you're in front of your friends. You can't eat this, and then the mind starts to play tricks on you like you can't do it. Because let's face it, 90% of weight loss is psychological. So for me, if I decided to take 250 calories off of 1,300, I'm at 850 calories per day. And then if I exercise or walked or whatever, 250 more calories, I'm then in a calorie deficit. Well, I don't want to have to monitor 850 calories per day because for breakfast I have 350. Right? So a quarter of my calories comes from breakfast. And so I don't want to get that uncomfortable. So anywhere from 850 to 1,050 calories, that is taking that 250 off. And I don't want to do that. So my calorie deficit comes from activity. I simply use that 1,300 calories and I make sure that I'm active 500 calories or more per day. And doing that, I can lose at least a pound per week. Now listen, if you are really, really obese, meaning if you got 100 pounds, 50 pounds, like I had over 100 pounds to lose when I was 238. My body was really great at burning calories. I could lose like 3 or 4 pounds in a week, okay, being in a calorie deficit. You know why? Because my body was really efficient at burning calories. If you are obese, you have a fantastic metabolism. You know why? Because to maintain weight, that amount of weight, your body is burning through lots of calories per day. So the least amount of calorie restriction or calorie deficit, let me say calorie deficit, and increasing your activity, you can see tremendous changes within 1 week. So, but for a person that has been in and out of diet for a long time, a person who is working out quite some time, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for me to lose weight. Why? Because my body just burns through lots and lots of calories. So it's not going to allow me to burn through a lot of calories at one time now. So I'm going to have to really work. The more weight you lose, the more you're going to have to work to get some weight off, okay? But if you have quite a bit of weight to lose, you are in a perfect place, okay, to lose some weight. You are. So I don't want to take off 200 or 500 calories from the amount of calories to keep me alive, which is 1,300 calories. So to get into a calorie deficit, I need to look at the end of the day. Kim, were you active at least 500 to 700 calories today? And I got to do that over the course of a couple of months, right? I got to do that over the course of a week to see at least a 1 pound loss, right? To take 1 pound off, because 500 calories times 7 is 3,500 calories, and that's a pound. Okay, what happens is we'll start off in a calorie deficit one day and then not be in the deficit the next day. So you'll see weight and fat loss up and down, and that's what's going on. You're in maintenance. You're not in a calorie deficit. Okay, and so how do you get in a calorie deficit? If a person is 1,800 calories, that is their basal metabolic rate. That is the rate of calories that keep them alive. Okay, and they want to cut off 500 calories from that, that'll put them at 1,300 calories per day. Right? Say if they didn't want to cut off 500 calories per day, right? And that's what I recommend. I recommend, because you can get as much activity as you like. Get up from your desk, start moving around, move on your lunch break, move in the mornings. You got to get up and get moving around. This is moving. This is movement. This is movement, believe it or not. This is movement, okay? Move around, get active, be active, and get those 500 calories in. Do that over the course of a week, and you will see, right? You will see tremendous improvement. So calorie deficit is simple. It is very simple. You simply increase your activity level and decrease the amount of calories you take in. Now, explained, you got to know what your basal metabolic rate is, or have a general idea of how many calories it is to keep you alive. If you don't know, or how many calories it takes to maintain the weight you are, and if you don't know, you don't want to use a calculator, a more accurate way is simply to start just plugging in the amount of food you eat for over the next 7 days. 7 days, no expectation, No guilt. Whatever you ate, whatever you drank. You know, if you had a pint of ice cream at night, you plug that in. If you had 3 pizzas for lunch, plug that in. If you had grits, biscuits, sausage for breakfast, plug that in. All right. And if you weigh the same thing at the end of the week and you still working out and being active, you know you are at maintenance. Those are your maintenance calories. And you simply take off 500 calories from that. Okay. But if you don't want to do that, you want an easier way, you simply use a calculator. Go out to the website and use a calculator. You, have a basal metabolic rate based on the questionnaire that you took when you joined this program. And so if you want to know what your basal metabolic rate is, I can give it to you. I can send that to you. All right, now it's going to take some work. Here's where personal accountability comes in on your part. It will take some work, right? Because now you have to monitor yourself. You have to monitor yourself to say, am I 500 calories at the end of the day? Am I working out? Am I being active? See, a workout, this young lady, a workout is what she did a part of her day, 60 minutes, one part of her day. Activity is what you do in the entire day to include your workout, right? Got to get up and get moving. Got to move around. Yeah. So that's what a calorie deficit is. You're going to have a negative at the end of the day. When your body burns a safe and sustainable amount of calories to achieve your weight loss. You can lose 1 to 2 pounds per week. But when I see up and down, you're in maintenance one day and calorie deficit the next day. Maintenance one day, and if you're in a window, like my window, my safe window is anywhere between 125 pounds to 135, right? That's a 10 pound. I feel good, all right? But once I hit 135, I tend to back it up a little bit. Okay, because I don't want to go too far outside of that range because it's too much work to get back. Well, number one. So I tend to monitor a little bit more. All right, so that's what I'm doing now. All right. So if you have any questions about a calorie deficit, simply reach out to me and ask me, what is your basal metabolic rate based on your height, your weight, and your age. And if your weight has changed since you joined the studio, then we need to redo it. Okay? So you got to know where you're headed if that's what you want to do. Now, some people join the studio to be social, to build community, to work out, to improve different health markers, whether it's diabetes, high blood pressure. All of that plays a factor. And if that's where you are, great. I'm talking to the people that have goals, different goals, physical goals, right? I'm talking to you. And to the people, if you want to improve your blood pressure and you overeat, consuming calories, overconsumption of different foods, and your doctor has said you need to take a few pounds off, I'm talking to you too. Talking to you too. All right, so listen, guys, have a great day on purpose. And if you have any questions about creating a calorie deficit, meaning your deficit of calories needs to be in exercise and activity, 500 to 700 calories at the end of the day over what your body needs to maintain life. Okay. For example, mine is 1,300 calories to maintain life. At the end of the day, along with my exercise and movement, I need to be at least 700 calories. All right, I need to be at least 700 calories. Now, I don't use this Apple Watch as a marker of my fat loss. I don't. What I use as a marker is how my clothes are fitting, my waist is sitting, right? And pictures. Those are more reassuring. Those are more accurate. The scale is going to go up and down based on volume in your stomach. So if you weigh at the end of the day, you're not only weighing yourself, but you're weighing everything that you've taken in over the course of the day. All right, even this bottle of water, okay, it's going to be 2 pounds. It's volume in your stomach. All right, you guys.